Okay, one more for this particular module. This is the most exciting part. This is my cognitive crush, and his name is David Rock, and I love him. And he wrote a book, and we'll talk about that. So let me actually share my screen. This is the longest reading that you're going to need to see, but it is so fantastic. And you're going to start to want to know so much more about him. So far, we've had a few turns of that kaleidoscope. We've talked about adult learning assumptions. How does that play out with your Deep End case study? How does understanding where the people that I work with are coming from in terms of identity or culture make a difference in how I might preempt for resistance, understand where they're coming from, use different language, appreciate where their challenges are. Same thing, as I said, with cultural dimensions, gave you a little taste, just a bit, with a guy named Geert Hofstede. Want to go in further with that work? Go for it. I encourage you. Then my work on generational savvy. We've got to figure out who are we talking to and how do we want to talk to them about it. So those are a few turns of the kaleidoscope. Now, we're going to do a few more graphics with my SCARF model by David Rock. I call it like my SCARF model, as if it was mine. He is an international, I think he's maybe Australian. He has work, maybe he's South African. He's got a place of work in South Africa. They work in New York. They're everywhere. And his work is also featured in a book called Your Brain at Work. It's in the article that I have in the packet with you. It's on the Neural Leadership Institute website, which is featured in the directions for this module. It's on davidrock.net's website. You can just find lots of things about it. This is my key piece. When you start looking for SCARF work, don't think of scarves because you're going to start going with that. They're going to give you SCARF ideas. When you need to think about the SCARF model, think about SCARF model David Rock if you're going into Google or whatever. He speaks to the fact that we are, in any given moment that we are interacting with somebody, we have 5 domains, 5 parts of our brain that perceive that that interaction is either threatening or safe. Everybody has all 5, whether you're 2 years old or 92, whether you're the head of school or you're a teacher. We have these needs. And if they get kind of what I will call paper cutted, and we'll talk about that, then we go back to our limbic brain, and then we can't hear. We can't be engaged because we feel threat as opposed to safe. So to me, you don't want to paper cut people. And I call them verbal paper cuts. The things you're going to do when you start talking to people won't be over the top and overt and aggressive. It's just through your language that you might start to verbally just irritate people. Little paper cuts. And those start to hurt after a while because you start feeling pain. Not big, you're not yelling at somebody or really aggressively saying something hurtful. It's just in little ways, okay? The SCARF model is 5 different things, and it starts with the S in SCARF. Are we going to be listening to you, and will you trigger us because you do not honor our status? Status is an important thing for everybody. Being acknowledged, appreciated, known, seen because of our education, or because how long we've been somewhere, or how many years we've done something, or our title, or our position, or our doctorate, or that you are the elder statesman of the school, or that you are. So if you talk to somebody who has a strong need for status and you belittle it by going, oh, really, do you know a lot about this? Oh, how long have you been here? You start to irritate people, and it starts to verbally paper cut. So who are you talking to? And do you have people that you're not going to want to verbally paper cut because they need you to see their status? It's okay. I like status. It's not, you're not wrong if you need these things. I'm just asking you, as the person who's doing the communication, don't verbally paper cut people with this or this, their need for certainty. Certainty in this moment is so hard to offer. It isn't that we can offer it all the time, but if you have it, share it, because people are going to go to fight or flight, and they're not going to feel like you're sharing everything. So if you can be clear, please do that. You'll hear your certainty people going, I just don't feel that was really transparent. I just don't think I have all of the specifics on that. Can we circle back? I'm just unclear. Can you give me a little bit more information about it? Okay, those are your certainty people whose neurons are firing because they're not getting it from you. Other people may actually be delighted because all they wanted was autonomy. Get out of my face, let me do it my way. I think you're crushing me, you're not treating me like a professional, I feel like you're pushing me to do something. And for those autonomy people, is there a way that you could talk about options or suggestions or possibilities? What can you absolutely say that is certain, but what can actually be autonomous? I'm telling you, you can't have autonomy all the time. We get on an airplane, or we used to, and people did have to put a seatbelt on. So I'm not suggesting that autonomy happens all the time. But if you've got some people who are going to be pushing up against you because you're putting them in a box or you're not allowing them to do their own thing, how can you mitigate for that? Other people will want you to talk about relatedness. Speak about the family, the community, the school. Make sure that everyone's involved. A lot of we words. We're doing this together. Do not ostracize. We want to make sure that all the departments, all the grade levels, if you are working with somebody who has strong sense of relatedness and you talk about us and them, or the other this, or we'll start with these people, they're going to get a little worried that they're not included, or that you don't have a feeling of understanding of how important it is that we're all in it together. And other people will want to know about fairness. Is everybody going to have to do this? Why are they doing this? Why don't we get to do this? Why do the people, and this has been happening with people inside and outside of China that I've been working with, the time frames. It's not fair when these people get to do something and I don't get to, or I can't get back in enough time, or I don't get to do it online. Why do they get to do it online? There's a lot of that. So I look at the SCARF model and I ask the question, how can we move toward things and not as a way, that threat? We got to deal with making sure that we are moving our language so that people can listen to the message and are not running away because of how we've languaged it, okay? So in your reading, and then maybe in the classroom, I want us to consider, how about those, think about how those you work with will be threatened. You might have particular people in mind. You might go, oh my gosh, this is why she or he is always so upset at me, because I have a different need than they do. And you can take little assessments on that. That's in the directions. What are you learning from the article that will help you communicate more effectively as you move forward? So absolutely read the article, worth your time. Absolutely do some thinking. Post some stuff in the classroom and reflect on it for your final module reflection. And I look forward to hearing about this. He's David Rock's one of my favorite psychologists to really use his thinking and apply in my context. And so I hope you enjoy thinking about this, and I'll see you in the classroom.